All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. And my name is Judson Powell. And hopefully everybody has had a good New Year so far. And so I'm gonna keep on going through what I've been talking about for uh, really what we need to be doing in 2023. And anyway, so I guess the first thing that I wanted to start off with was the MLK holiday, and all of the things that we went through in order to get the MLK holiday, and so I get that, and then I get another part of it, and this is one thing that happened to me when I was in law school, and um, they wouldn't readily accept some of my work, some of my papers that I wrote, and also even my final paper that I wrote. Um, they refused to grade it, and I won't go into names or anything like that. But just put it this way, the faculty refused to grade it because some of them were involved in the civil rights movement. So we understand that they were involved in the civil rights movement. The thing about it was that I was critical at, of integration, or desegregation. I never felt like that was beneficial. And the more I read, and the more cases that I read on it, the more court cases that I read about it, the more stuff that I started reading about it, and I was just like, wow, this doesn't make any sense because it is hurting us. You could tell that it was going to hurt us even back in the day. But because here's what happened. So take, for example, somebody like Jackie Robinson. All right. And this is all hypothetical. This is not, an indictment or anything or anybody or anyone. But this is just saying that, look, okay, you take a ball player like Jackie Robinson, and then the first thing that you do is you take him from the Negro leagues, and then you put him into the white, the predominantly white major league, right? And so and he's the first one to break the barrier and stuff. But what happened to our uh, major league baseball teams, the Negro League teams, and the Barnstormers, and all of those people that were out there who were playing the game of baseball, or playing the game of basketball, or whatever. And eventually, what happens is that the white owners end up controlling all of the players. And so now, instead of having a Negro League, what do we have? We have a major league that is controlled by who? Not by us. See, because when we were barnstorming and we were doing all the stuff in the Negro leagues, that was all. Everything that came in was all us. Everything that happened was all us. So it didn't have anything to do, with anybody from the outside coming in trying to help us. And from what I understand, from my grandmothers and stuff like that, it was like, they were like, it was a show. They could, when the Barnstormers came to town and they was playing, playing baseball, and they could throw the ball, all the way from center field to home plate between their legs and stuff like that, and the stuff that people remember and people recall and say, yeah, he could do this and he could do that, or they were exceptional hitters, and some of them, you know, they would undoubtedly, had they played their entire careers in the major leagues, they would have undoubtedly been in the Hall of Fame and much more. And they would hold probably all of the records in Major League Baseball. And not to mention, we still own a large majority of those records, and we weren't even in there that long. But let's go back to the financial impact. Okay, so now you got all of these things. So whenever these sports teams came to town to play, what did it do? Okay, so now you got a black hotel, you got black restaurant and bars, all of that kind of stuff. Those are all industries that we had the opportunity to develop because they connected to the sports. I mean, and this is even true. It was even true to this day. I mean, when for example, um, when Michael Jordan was in Chicago, he single handedly, pretty much doubled the economy in Chicago because he was there. And the same thing happens now whenever you get, for lack of a better word, franchises that form dynasties, right? So you got these franchises, and because they're just what it is, right? Like people like the Dallas Cowboys ain't never even been to Dallas, but it's because it's a team that is constantly talked about in broadcast. The same thing in basketball. Who is it? The LA Lakers. Why? Because they got the best player, LeBron James. So it still goes to show you that even back then that was a draw, and that it stimulated the local economy to have those people in town. But what happened? Now we don't own any of that. And the richest, pretty much most of the richest people in the country, those are or in the world, those are the people that own those sports teams. Those are the people who can afford, I think what was it, was like $4 billion or something like that for the Commanders in Washington or something like it was, but maybe it was more. I don't know, but I think it was something around in that area. All right, so we understand now that everything that we gave up back then it's like multi-billion-dollar industries, things that we never got back and that were never returned back to our community. And like I said, it stimulated the economies, because now you got people, like I said, you got a whole list of black hotels. And now look, there are people right now that are trying to revive those type of things. Like, okay, we got these black, and then give a directory so that when you want to go someplace, you don't have to worry about staying with the big, big box brand hotels or motels. And a lot of times they're not even that great anyway. But once again, this is going to the fact of us supporting each other and buying from each other and doing for each other. The same thing with when you travel restaurants, trying to find a decent restaurant that's owned by us and is for us. And there's plenty of them. I don't care, especially if you go to Houston or Dallas or Miami, Atlanta, any of those places. You're gonna run into that Charlotte, Washington D.C., wherever you happen to go, Detroit, Cleveland, all these places. They all have black restaurants, and the only thing that I think that there's two areas that I think we're lacking, and I think that is probably medical care, is because it's hard to find black doctors. I guess I've been successful in it, but it's hard to find black doctors, and they do exist. So I don't know if there's a directory or anything like that. I've tried in the past to try to find a directory of black doctors, but I guess I was unable. I don't know, but the bottom line is that I've been lucky that I've been able to find them. I guess through whatever. I guess that's part of my spiritual calling or whatever. That whenever I'm looking for something, 9 times out of 10, what happens? I find it. Okay. So, but those kind of things. But I guess I'm saying I shouldn't even be making it about me. It's more so about you. Find out, who black does business, and then the next thing is that when we do business with each other back then, we took care of business, and that's one thing that we need to do now. We got to take care of business. In other words, we got to give every customer that walks through your door, you got to give them the best possible service. And I remember my dad used to always say, talk about we have to super serve our customers. Why? Because it's easy to keep getting repeat customers if you treat people good, if you treat people nice, if greet them with a hello and a smile and all of that kind of stuff. It works. But a lot of that, because of social media and because of stuff like that, a lot of that art of uh, public and customer service is losing it. Is going out the window, right? And in fact, even meeting people in person is going out the window. Which is strange, but it's true. In fact, what we're doing right now, I'm making this video, is more personal than a lot of other ways that we have chosen to communicate. But the bottom line is we have to keep this. We got $1.8 trillion coming in, according to estimates this year, from all black folks, which is, I guess, if they say, if we all stuck together, black folks in America, just in the United States, not even talking about other parts of diaspora, we're talking about just right here is $1.8 trillion that'll be pushed through our economy. What we got to do is we got to figure out how to keep that money. And that's why you buy black, and that's why you make black, and that's why you do everything that you can, the most things you can do, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, even if it's a little bit out of your comfort zone, to go and try to do business with these people. And the other thing is, and then as the consumer, the person outside of the transaction, don't be trying to get a discount, because black folks, we laugh about this all the time. Oh, we always trying to get the discount, the hookup, the whatever, the whoop-de-whoop, right? We always trying to get that. But what we don't realize is that if enough of us come to the same vendor and get a discount, then all of a sudden the vendor, he can't pay his, they can't pay their bills in order to stay in business, because it costs money to stay in business. So they're trying to keep all the money that they can so that they can stay in business. And most black businesses are not generationally accepted yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is like there's like first, second generation owners in most of these businesses. So they don't have a deep money pot to go back into. They have to be good the first time. Remember how y'all probably don't know, but it used to be the old timers would tell you, boom, when you get the opportunity, be ready for the opportunity. And that's all I'm saying. Be ready for every opportunity economically so we could take advantage of these things, and also, do business with one another. And here's another thing: just be kind and nurturing to one another. And I know that's a kind of a big word, but what I'm saying is, it's like we got to raise these businesses up, and don't be a hater. That's the other thing. We hate on each other so much. It's like, stop hating on each other. Somebody has a business and there's something that you need that person sells, or anything else, or if a route where, once again, that $1.8 trillion could stay in our neighborhood, or stay in our HBCUs or whatever it is, then we need to try to go that extra mile to make that happen, because it's beneficial to all of us. And we got to start building relationships. In fact, that's why, people like to say Kanye still got probably about $2 billion. And you know why? Because he's a relational person. He knows all, he goes, he talks, and he digs up all of these people, and that's why they do business with him. Come on now, he had deals with the Gap, with Adidas, with Balenciaga, and a few other companies, right? And how does he get? All of those companies gave him $1 billion, and then then you tag that on top of the sales. That's what we got to be doing. We got to be doing that. We can't keep on sending our $1.8 trillion. We can't keep sending our $1.8 trillion out of our neighborhood, right? So I have a dream that we'll keep that $1.8 trillion this year. Let's keep as much as we can. Fastest 15 minutes is up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. But most of all, hit the love button, and let's keep making solutions.